What is up, everybody? Welcome to Perspective Gaming. I'm your host, Flame078, logging in from the weird world to tell you if it's worth the time. A video series focused on a brief but informative review for those like myself who cannot jump onto the biggest titles coming out. You should expect the following in this video: an overview of the game, my thoughts of the game, and my final verdict of either a yes with an asterisk next to it, or a no. With that being said, today on the chopping block, Injustice 2. Is it worth the time? Let's find out. Injustice 2 is the fighting game sequel to Injustice Gods Among Us, and for the most part I think it improves on everything that Injustice did prior. The fighting seems more fluid and faster paced, which for me I enjoyed. I felt like the Injustice was kind of clunky at times. This is coming from a guy whose fighting games are never on my radar. Like, I don't kind of look for them. I kind of just avoid them if I can. Not because I don't like fighting games, it's just I'm pretty bad at them, so unless something is there to grab me, I'm not really going to go out of my way and buy it. And which was the case for this game, that being that it's Injustice. I'm a DC fan, and the story is pretty dope. The story takes place several years after the end of Injustice 1, and Batman is still trying to rebuild the world that's left in shambles after the fall of Superman's regime. But new threats are coming, and with everyone divided, will our heroes be ready?
Surprised that worked. Let's call it a day and get Harley out of here.
It's never good when you slap the cuffs on and then they start chuckling.
Humans. You've won this battle, but you've already lost.
Holy shit.
I'd say the single player game is pretty much on par with the last one, with greater cinematic value in terms of cutscenes. I mean, the game just looks beautiful and the character renders are amazing, and the voice acting is still pretty good. One of the benefits of playing the single player game is that you get to cycle through most of the DC heroes and fighters and get to see and have a feel for their movesets, which is kind of nice because it helps you with picking who you're going to battle it out in the other modes, so that's kind of cool. The game also brings the addition of Multiverse, a single player mode where you basically have a variety of different challenges with different modifiers that you get to play, and it gets updated hourly, daily, weekly, so there's always something to do and always to jump on. Personally, for me, I love this mode the most because it has a ton of value, and as a person who's not good at fighting games, this is my go-to thing because I don't have to feel bad about getting my butt kicked from a 13-year-old online. Obviously, as a fighting game, it comes with your standard multiplayer where you can fight with other people online and, either win or lose horribly. Your choice. But one thing to know in the multiplayer is I haven't noticed any particular network issues or lag or anything that will be, this sucks. Overall, it was a clean launch and I've experienced no issues thus far. But the big thing to know that Injustice brings to the table is the gear system, and essentially everything you do in the game is for this. The gear system allows you to change your character, not only its looks but its performance. You get to change their strength, health, add different modifiers, abilities to your characters, which apply to almost all the modes. It doesn't apply to competitive modes such as ranked multiplayer, so if you're worried about not having a fair fight, that's not the case in that specific mode. And I think it's pretty cool because it adds a little RPG progression element to the game that allows you to come back into the game, and I think it's one of the biggest points and strongest points that the game has is, as a fighting game, you always have to figure out how to get your people to come back. And I think Injustice 2 does a great job at that. The multiverse and the gear system alone, you have a ton of reason to come back to the game and keep fighting, and keep playing, and keep grinding it out. Versus compared to Injustice, you know, you really didn't have that much. You beat the story and then you just play online. But after that, then there was not much else you could do. So that's the game in a nutshell. Now, to give you my overall impressions and my opinions, I think Injustice 2 is a solid game for what it's offering. Again, as a person that's not a big fighting game fanatic, I was always hesitant in buying these types of games, but I was invested in the story and it offers something to come back to. I think the gear system and multiverse are big selling points for me and for someone who's a casual gaming enthusiast. You know, I don't play professionally all the time, so I can just sit there, play a couple matches and move on with my day, and I think that's great. But if I were to give my opinion though, I don't think that you have to add this to your library this minute. So my final verdict for Injustice 2 is a yes, you should definitely get the game, but don't feel rushed that you need to buy this now. You know, you're not missing anything that is completely groundbreaking. You can wait until, you know, maybe a friend buys it for you or wait for it to get low on price. But I do recommend you add this to your library at some point because it is a nice, polished game that can give you value if it's the game for you. Do you agree with my verdict? Let me know your perspective in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, adios.